Hello, everyone. We enjoy eating fish, but how often do we think about fishermen? Even if we think about fishermen, how often we think about the challenges they face in the ocean? Jatin Desai helps fishermen from India and Pakistan who are arrested by Coast Guard for crossing international border. As Jatin says, fishermen will go wherever fish goes. And even if they do get an idea and alerts of where the borders are, the ocean currents, the winds, and of course, their chase of the fish makes it harder for them to turn around. They end up in the prisons. There are instances when fishermen languishing in prisons die. And for a month, 2 months, or 3 months, the regulations and bureaucracy and red tape makes it harder for their families to even get their mortal remains back. In this dialogue, we will talk about the amazing work that Jatin Bhai is doing in helping fishermen. It's an opportunity for us to think about people who bring that fish on our plate and to help build an environment in which these poor people who have no voice in democracy because they don't have the right numbers to influence the politicians, let's think of them and fight for them. So over to Jatin Bhai. Namaste, Jatin Bhai. It was a pleasure seeing you. My objective in having a conversation with you is to understand that person, not just your cause, but that person, so that people can relate and empathize with their life, with their pain, and their dreams. And so we will start with the question. In one of your interviews, you had mentioned that the period during emergency brought you in contact with people who initiated you into this cause. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was part of the movement which Jayaprakash Narayan started after emergency. That's Jayaprakash Narayan just founded Chhatra Yuva Sangharsh Vahini, an organization, and I was part of that. I was part of national committee also of that organization, and through that organization, I used to work among tribals in Maharashtra. For a couple of years, I worked among tribals. Then subsequently, I realized that that is not my field in the sense, and so I opted journalism. I came back to Mumbai again and started working for a newspaper. I worked for around 25 years in media, 25, a little more than 25 years. Then, even that time, I was quite active. I was heading Bombay Union of Journalists at that time, then, and we fought many battles for the freedom of expression and freedom of speech. At that time, Shiv Sena was ruling Mumbai city,
Mhm.
and nobody dared to challenge the Shiv Sena at that time. Today, Shiv Sena is totally different. You must be knowing that during that time, a newspaper started by Nikhil Wagle, Mahanagar, was continuously attacked. So at that time, I was heading Bombay Union of Journalists, and we fought many battles. At the same time, I was also active with various other uh, progressive movements and was trying to support in whatever way I can through writing, primarily through writings. But after that, I realized that I came in touch with one of our best friend who is no more, late Madhav Sate. You must be aware about Madhav Sate. So through Madhav Sate, I came in contact with an organization called Pakistan India People's Forum for Peace and Democracy, which primarily talks about peace and democracy between two countries and also promote people to people contact between two countries. It's active in both countries. In fact, in Pakistan, it was headed by one of the finest human rights activists, Asma Jahangir, one time. So I was part of that. That I visited Pakistan, met people, make friends with Pakistanis, and at that time, I realized the issue of fishing community of India and Pakistan. That's a primarily from Gujarat and obviously from Sindh of Pakistan. Because what happens when they go to catch fish? It's a very difficult or rather impossible to realize where one country's water ends and other country's water begins. Because there is IMBL, that's International Maritime Boundary Line. But in that sense, it's a notional line. So you really find it extremely difficult to realize or understand whether you are crossing IMBL or not. So that sense, I became active on this issue.
I want to ask you this question. You talked about it's very hard to see the border in the water. So, what is the difference between pilots knowing the border in the sky and fishermen seeing the border in the water?
Yeah, it's a. I think it cannot be compared because at least with a pilot, you have uh, air traffic control system. Then there are routes. There are routes. So pilot is very clear that he knows, he or she, they knows the route. In case of sea, the fishermen find it extremely difficult because what happens? They get messages on which side you can get fish because they have a system through which they get message on which side of the sea or where ample number of fishes are available. So they go in that direction. So it's very difficult. It cannot be in that sense compared. One thing, this all these fishing boats, they have GPS. So when they approaches IMBL, they do get signals. But many times what happens, uh, because of gusty wind or heavy stream, it's a very difficult for them to turn back, even if they realize that they are approaching IMBL or crossing IMBL. So it's a very difficult for them. So they get trapped in the sense. And also the one thing that the IMBL is quite far because when fishing boat leaves Porbandar or Verawal or Diu or Okha from Gujarat, the trip is about 25 days. So they are in sea for about 25 days. And so it's very difficult for them to um return, even if they realize that they are approaching IMBL. And once they cross IMBL and enter Pakistan's water or Pakistani fishing boat in Indian water, so they get arrested by Indian Coast Guard or Pakistan's Maritime Security Agency. The issue is you will find as of today 266 Indian fishermen are in Pakistan's prison and 68 Pakistani fishermen are in various prisons in Gujarat. All Indian fishermen are in one prison, that's a Landi prison in Karachi. Immediately, someone will think, oh, we are not arresting more Pakistanis because numbers indicate there are 68 and ours 266. But the reality is, on Indian side, we don't get much fish. On the Pakistan side, there are ample fishes. So they really don't have to come towards Indian side. While our fishermen have no other option but to go more and more towards IMBL or cross IMBL. So that is again one major issue. Now the question is why on the Indian side we don't have much fish. It is primarily because of pollution. Because on the coastal Gujarat, and especially Saurashtra region, you will find lots of industries, and not only in India but in all the South Asian countries, or we can say developing countries, or because we don't now call underdeveloped. So in developing countries, we just dump our waste into the sea without giving proper treatment. So the temperature on our side uh, gets little about it makes a difference of 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. It gets more hot, and so in that case, fish don't exist or survive. So that's the reason that we don't have much fish on our side, and on Pakistan side there are no more industries, not much industries rather on the Pakistan side. So there are more fish. Also, the river Sindhu, Indus, where Sindhu or Indus meet Arabian Sea, that is also a fertile ground. So that is also one reason that there are more fish. Other thing is there is a difference between our fishing boat and Pakistani fishing boats. Our fishing boats are little bigger than Pakistani fishing boats, so we catch more. So that is also the reason, and that's why our fishermen they get stuck. And once Pakistan Maritime Security Agency arrest fishermen or and confiscate boats, they take them to Karachi, hand over to police and court, and then the process begin. So once they are arrested, so roughly they have to live in the prison for about 2 to 2.5 years. And in that sense, again, it is not their fault because both the government, India and Pakistan, when they write or when they communicate to each other, they always use one word inadvertently. They always write, this fisherman cross border inadvertently. So my point is, if you are accepting or acknowledging that they are crossing border inadvertently, then why keep them in prison for 2 to 2.5 years? So ideally, what we have been propagating is on the border itself. If Pakistan's Maritime Security Agency realizes that Indian boats are coming or entering into Pakistani water, or Indian Coast Guard realizes Pakistani boats are coming into Indian water, so rather arresting fishermen and confiscating boats, they can be pushed back. That is the most easiest way. At the most, they can take fish back. But this issue, because these fishermen are from poor community, most of them are not in the sense literate also. They are semi-literate or illiterate. And also what happens, uh, people from different states also goes to catch fish in Gujarat boat. For example, you will find lots of tribals from Maharashtra, that's from primarily from Palghar district. They go to Verawar or Porbandar and work on Gujarat fishing boats. And they also get, when boat gets arrested, so they also get arrested. So they are tribal, again poor, not literate. You will find fishermen from Andhra Pradesh or Telangana also come to Gujarat to work on Gujarat fishing boat. And you will surprise that there is a Gujarat government has made a law that if some fisherman from Gujarat is arrested by Pakistan and kept in Pakistan prison, so during that time, the Gujarat government gives rupees 300 per day to the family of arrested fishermen so that they can survive. 300 is not much, but at least something is. And everyone they get around 9,000 rupees and they are deposited in the amount is deposited in the bank. But it is only for fishermen from Gujarat. Now, for example, in a trawler, in a fishing boat, there are 7 to 8 fishermen and one Tandel. Tandel is the commander.
Hmm.
So in some cases, out of the 7 or 8, 5 are from Gujarat, 3 are out of 3, 2 are from Maharashtra and from other state. So that 5 will get benefit. The family get benefit, but 2 fishermen from Maharashtra and other state, one from other state, their family will not get benefit. So it's a really, but then we pushed and recently we compelled Maharashtra government to think on the similar line, and Maharashtra government decided that we will also give rupees 300 per day to the family of arrested fishermen from Maharashtra during their period of jail in Pakistan. But when official notification came, it came just last month. The way it was drafted, one can see that not a single fisherman from Maharashtra who was arrested or who are in Pakistan jail, their family will not get benefit. Because I'll give you an example. The first clause of that Maharashtra notification says that the fisherman should be from Maharashtra, that's fine. But it further says that he must have fishing license from Maharashtra. Now, this is drafted by the fishery department. Fishery department of Maharashtra do not give license, fishing license to fishermen. So you are not giving license and you are saying they should have fishing license. Fishing license is given only to boats, not to fishermen.
Hmm.
So I'm working on this that Maharashtra must change. How can they are so ignorant? Nothing like that. Nothing like fishing license to fishermen. So this is the scenario how government operates.
So you said these fishermen who get arrested, they are very poor. So I just want to understand what kind of people are now. Who owns the boat and who are do the fishermen own the boat or the boat owner is somebody else?
So one thing that all the boats are owned by fishing community people, people from the fishing community.
Hmm.
That's in Gujarat.
Hmm.
In Gujarat, in Saurashtra,
Hmm.
there are coolies, and there is one another community of fishing community, Kharwa.
Hmm.
On Porbandar, Verawar, Mangrove, Diu, that's a Kharwa community. It's a primarily Kharwa community. So Kharwa community, people from Kharwa community
Hmm.
owns the boat. It's not like some company owns. It's owned by individuals. Yes, but there are fishermen who own 20, 25 boats. There are. But generally they own two or three boats. That's generally. Again, the person who goes to catch fish, many of them are from Kharwa community because Kharwa community is a very poor community. Then there are many from the scheduled caste. From Gujarat, there is Kodinar, which is quite close to Diu Union Territory. Una, for example, Una. So from that area, sizable number of scheduled caste people goes to catch fish. So in that sense, it's not only people from fishing community goes to catch fish. They go from Maharashtra tribals, Warli tribals. They are going to catch fish. And obviously they are poor and that's why they are going. You'll be surprised. There are people who were arrested by Pakistan for twice or thrice. So they know that it's a risky business. It's a risky job. But again, they goes to catch fish. So in fact, once or regularly I interact and I ask them, then you know there is a risk. There is a probability that you may get arrested. Then why you are going and not finding some other job? So just it's a very sad story. And again, it's a story of Gujarat, one of the most progressive state of India. They said, what can we do? We have no other opportunity of employment. And at the end of the month, we have to give money to parents to run a house. So even though we know there are risks, we have no option but to go to sea to catch fish. This is the sad reality. And again, what happens? The 300 rupees scheme, which I referred earlier, it is given to only those persons who is arrested for the first time. If someone is arrested for second or third time, their family member, their family do not get benefit of this scheme. So it's a very sad reality. If someone goes to their houses, because in Porbandar there is one area Subhash Nagar. It's a very, it's like a vicious circle. If father is arrested, kids who are in school, they after returning from school, they do not do anything. They just wander here and there because their mom, she has to go somewhere to work to run a house. So these children's these children's they don't concentrate on their education, so they suffer. And again, there are families which I observed, and it's a very shocking story. If someone has one boy and one girl, and now there is a everywhere. I will not use the word like fashion. Every parent wants their kids to go to private schools, not to the Jilla Parishad schools, and preferably to the English school because English school uh, is everywhere in rural areas also. So if they have one boy and a girl, what family do? They remove girl from private school and put her in Jilla Parishad school, but they will not do similar to boy. So again, gender
Discrimination.
insensitivity or discrimination also takes place. So it's a because they are poor, they continue to remain poor. The next generation also. So we have been I'm particularly emphasizing both the regimes, India and Pakistan, that this issue should not be seen as a from a pure legal perspective. It's a humanitarian issue.
It's not a law and order issue.
It's not law and order.
It's a social issue.
Yeah, it's a social issue because both the government accepts it, but again they do nothing. And can you imagine? I have recorded that if some fisherman, Indian fisherman, dies in Pakistan prison, it takes minimum 30 days to repatriate his body, mortal remains. Minimum 30 days. There are cases where it took 3.5 months for mortal remains to be repatriated. So you just imagine the family knows that dear one is no more. He passed away in Pakistan jail. The daily wait, daily I get 4, 5 calls. Sir, when they will be released, when body or mortal remains will return, repatriate. So images their psychology, the mental trauma they are facing. So it's very difficult to put in words.
I understand. So next question I have is, I want to compare these borders in the ocean with borders in on the land. Now, when I think of northeast of
Hmm.
India, especially northeast, I know that the borders are porous. A lot of trade happens between
Yeah,
Bangladesh and India, and it's ingrained in the local culture that people walk across borders. I think in Bihar also it happens between Nepal and Bihar. Yeah. And there's almost like social sanction and acceptance, tolerance, whatever you call it. Uh, why is the mindset different when it comes to porous borders on the land and porous borders on the ocean?
The one thing that
Especially when it comes to trade, because fishing
yeah,
is a trade. This is also a trade.
no, but
What is the
one thing that's
difference?
between northeast and with Bangladesh or Myanmar or Burma or Bangladesh, whatever we say, there's some trades do happen. Because if you go to More, from More one can easily go to Myanmar and return by evening or they do business with you. But in India, between India and Pakistan, there is no trade as such. Because earlier, uh, before 2019, at least through Wagha-Attari border, there was formal trade between India and Pakistan. Now that is also stopped. There is no direct trade as such. And also now the border between India and Pakistan, it has become very difficult because in earlier days, because I know there are a couple of cases from Kutch where I know one case I'm handling. There's one aged person, shepherd. He was a shepherd. He mistakenly entered into Pakistan. That's a long ago, but now it cannot happen. But still, that man is in jail. Pakistan working on that. So now the crossing border between India and Pakistan is virtually impossible. Virtually impossible.
But,
And again, what I was like, see, uh, if we talk about Rajasthan's Barmer district, because Barmer district is just adjoining Pakistan's Tharparkar district and Umarkot, which was earlier Amarkot. Now it's Umarkot. And this Umarkot and Tharparkar are two Hindu majority districts in Pakistan. They're primarily tribals, Meghwal community. So they have a relation between Meghwal community on the Barmer Indian side and Meghwal community on the other side of the border. Recently, a marriage also took place between uh, royal family of Umarkot and from Indian family from Indian side. That also happens. And many times what happens, there are also issues. They also get arrested because between India and Pakistan, the visas are city specific. It's not country visa. So whenever these people goes to meet their relatives, so many times it's a because it's a city specific and they have lots of relatives. So someone say, "Arey, why don't you come to my village? No one will come to know." And in that they get arrested because visa for that village or that district they don't have. So this also take place. But surely that's when Vajpayee ji was the prime minister, and if you remember that in 2004, SARC summit took place in Islamabad, and during SARC, Vajpayee ji went to Pakistan. He had a meeting with Mushtaq. So it also decided a couple of things between India and Pakistan, and also that couple of confidence building measures were thought of. And one of that, surely there was Sir Creek, Siachen, because Siachen is the highest battlefield in the world. Sir Creek, where Indian and Pakistani farmers, fishermen, they get arrested. Then there are cross-border trade also was one of the CBM, confidence building measures. But it is not happening. That's unfortunately. And on again, North is a very different because it consists of relation between India and Pakistan is different than relation between India and Bangladesh. Also, India and Myanmar, because now it's now or even earlier also when Aung San Suu Kyi was counselor or heading National League for Democracy. Even at that time also ruling junta was junta. Military is the it, ruling. So even if we have issues with ruling junta in Myanmar, but we have some kind of relation, and that's unnecessary because otherwise we know what's the scenario in Northeast. So relation with neighboring countries of Northeast and with Pakistan is altogether altogether different. Now, Pakistan, we have been propagating because there are a couple of things that in 2008, India and Pakistan decided to form a judicial committee on prisoners, consisting four each retired judges from higher judiciary, and every year, once Pakistani retired judges used to visit India, and along with Indian judges, they used to visit notified prisons and meet Pakistani prisoners, which obviously includes fishermen also. That used to happen once in a year. They used to come Pakistani judges, and once our judges used to go to Pakistan and meet all the prisoners. It went really well up to 2013. The last meeting of the Judicial Committee was held in October 2013 in India. They visited prisons, and after that, uh, it virtually died. The committee virtually died. Then there was some effort in 2018 again to revive. India nominated judges. Pakistan didn't nominate because Pakistan was in 2018 they were going through elections. So they thought after elections and again nothing happened. So after 2013 there is no committee, and this committee used to play a very important role because Indian judges from higher judiciary, they were going to Pakistani prisons and meet Indian prisoners. So it used to give some confidence to the arrested fishermen and also to their families. The judges used to look into their issues like whether consular access is given or not, whether there are any legal issues, about their health issues also. So we have been demanding, pursuing that this judicial committee needs to be urgently revived. But there is no, there is hardly any movement on
Why?
that front
Why?
because in 2018 India did try. India nominated four, even at that time, even after Imran Khan became prime minister, because Shirin Mazari was their minister for human rights. Our Pakistani friends, they met Shirin Mazari number of times to nominate so that the committee can work. She was always very cordial with everyone and but never nominated judges. And now what happened was India nominated in 2018. Now we are in 2023. Out of that four nominated judges, I know one judge passed away because just imagine the age because that's after retirement. So again, both the governments we are pursuing, we are pursuing that immediately it should be revived, and also during Corona time and even now, the family members are really scared because they really do not know how their dear ones are in prison. Are they health-wise okay? They really do not know because there's hardly any communication. because Corona time, they earlier they used to write letters, but during Corona time, stop. So now it's very difficult to. And again, the UN protocol says the prisoners have right to meet their family members. That's a that's a basic right. But in India and Pakistan, it is not possible. So I've been trying. I'm in touch with a couple of Pakistani organizations also. Even they are also we are also pursuing that both the government need to think out of the box. Like for example, because the family members are really scared. So can we plan something like that online video conference or online just seeing if state thinks they may pass some messages or something, then at least can they see each other on video. So we have been pursuing that. At least let us think differently, think out of the box, and give some chance because anyway prisoners have right to meet their family members in person if they can't meet, at least through video conference they can meet. And also a couple of things which I want to say that in 2008, India and Pakistan signed an agreement on consular access, which is very significant because there is Vienna consular access protocol, but we have bilateral India and Pakistan, which is very significant. It says that if some Indian or Pakistani is arrested, then consular access should be given within the 3 months of his or her arrest. That's fine. But most of the time, consular access is not given within 3 months. And consular access is very important, very significant, because without consular access, you both the governments cannot really say the person who is arrested is really Indian or Pakistani. Because under this agreement, both the government are exchanges list of prisoners on every 1st January and 1st July. And since 2008, it's happening regularly. Even if 1st January or 1st July is Sunday, they exchange list on even on Sunday also. So there is no break. So that's a significant. So we come to know how many Indian prisoners are in Pakistan, and it's a very exhaustive list in the sense it gives details like when he or she is arrested, what is the state of their sentence, whether consular access is given or not. After consular access, nationality is confirmed or not. That also it's given. But there is a one lacuna. There is a lacuna is that if there is no time limit to verify or confirm nationality, there is no time limit. What we have been saying, that's we live in a age of information technology and so if we decide the nationality of an arrested person can be confirmed in a couple of days. It is not that difficult. But even then, we are saying that let us give 3 months. The nationality must be confirmed within the 3 months of consular access. So that we need to put it on the paper.
I have a
Huh,
question.
huh.
Do the fishermen carry any kind of identity?
Yeah, they do have Aadhaar card. Hmm.
Mhm.
They do have customs card. They do have. So in a way, they are known as Indian. But What I was trying to say that on every 1st January and 1st July, when they exchange list, it's a mention they are Indians or believed to be Indians. Similarly, they are Pakistanis or believed to be Pakistanis. Because the process of nationality confirmation after consular access, during consular access, the official of Indian High Commission goes to jail and meet the arrested person, get all the details about his village, families, and everything. They take his pictures, photos, and sent it to Indian Foreign Ministry, then to Home Ministry, and then to the concerned state government. And it's a process to identify, yes, this he or she is Indian. So many times what happens, it takes years also to identify or confirm nationality. That needs to be removed. Nationality must be confirmed within the 3 months of consular access.
Is the delay only on Pakistan side, or is the delay also on
On
Indian
both the
side
sides,
with
on both the
Pakistani?
sides, on both the sides, it happens. Because what happens many times when some fisherman is arrested, the wife takes kids to her parents' house, and when police or official from fishery department, they goes to village and find house is locked. So this kind of problem, but I think it can be removed if there is a will. If there is a will, it can be removed. We should use technology and identify, because ultimately one need to realize that uh, this people, they do not have much political bargaining power, because ultimately number also matters. For example, the similar issue you will find between fishermen from Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka. Tamil Nadu fishermen are arrested by Sri Lankan Navy. It's a regular feature, but immediately they are released because the primarily because Tamil Nadu's political parties cutting across political lines. It's a primarily DMK and Anna DMK. But on this issue, they make noise in the parliament. Both the DMK and Anna DMK, they raise the issues because of numerical strength of the Tamil Nadu fishing communities on the Tamil Nadu side, or even in Kerala. But unfortunately, this issue is not much debated. Gujarat issue is not much debated in the Indian Parliament. There are a couple of member of parliaments who did raise the issue, who does raise the issue. But again, it's not that organized manner. It's a very individual manner. In Tamil Nadu, it's a party, DMK, Anna DMK, Congress, and various small other parties. They make a big noise, which is lacking in case of Gujarat.
Does it have something to do with the democratic culture or unionization of labor?
Yeah, it's a very democratic culture. Again, in democracy, numbers matter, and there is no uh, member of parliament from fishing community of Gujarat. There's no member of parliament from fishing community because it's a now the prime minister is from Gujarat, home minister is from Gujarat, so they know the issue. Surely they know issue much better than what Manmohan Singh used to know. Obviously, so there was lots of expectation. And
I think one gap I see, and especially since you talked about Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Gujarat and Maharashtra, I do see kind of a correlationship between the political culture. I'm not even talking about political leadership. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Modi or,
yeah. It's correct.
yeah, the political culture of the state, and the extent to which the lowest in the society have a voice in the democratic functioning of the state, and how those lowest people are cared for. I do see a correlationship. So does it say something about, if you had to compare the democratic culture of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat, do you see a reflection on that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because in India, we can say rather the culture that's a democratic culture of South is totally different than North. You will also find that the cultural difference, democratic cultural difference of the South. South is much more, uh, even on voting also, if you see, because ultimately voting is a festival. Voting is a democratic, it's a festival. So the participation of South Indians, I will say, is much more in every sense from right from the gram panchayat, right from the gram panchayat. There's more participation, even women's emancipation. The fishing communities, women from Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they are more vocal than Gujarat, or even. But again, compared Gujarat and Maharashtra, Maharashtra's Koli women, they are more vocal. They are more vocal. You will not find that culture in Gujarat. Gujarat culture is which is it's a little bit subdued. I think that's
The BJP has been in government in Gujarat for a very long time, 30 plus years, right?
yeah,
And BJP is, and which is primarily Modi and then his successors, their style of governance is starkly different from the style of governance in Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In that case, to my mind, it almost seems that the problem is not just legislation or administration, it's more about giving people voice
Yeah, yeah,
in the governance of the state
absolutely.
and execution of the policies. Because I'm not even sure it's just the fishermen who don't have a voice, but I'm sure there are empathic people on those boats who arrest people. They don't have a flexibility or a way or a mental attitude to listen to the plight of these people. That culture doesn't exist. They don't feel
That's a
they
sad
don't
part.
feel accountable also.
That's a sad part. It's very, it's very. Sometime
Hmm.
I, um whenever I go to this to meet people from the Saurashtra, I deliberately avoid going to certain areas. Deliberately avoid because I know if I go, 100 or more women they will assemble and they'll. What can I answer? I have no answer. I have no answer and can't see their mental conditions, and it's very difficult. So they uh, they try to meet everyone because in last August um, we we thought that this woman from the fishing community they said, Jatin, why let us go to Delhi. Let us go to Delhi and meet foreign minister as Jaishankar or prime minister or whomsoever. Because at that time 666 Indian fishermen were in Pakistan prison. 666. Now in May and June, Pakistan released 398 Indian fishermen in May and June. In July, they were to release 100 more, but for unknown reasons, they didn't release and repatriate. So again, there is a pressure on us, and every day people are calling when this 100 will be back. So it's a and you begin quoting Mahatma Gandhi, and ultimately that's a what you said is correct. That's the philosophy of Antyodaya, the last man unto the last. What last? How your policies will empower the last person is important. And this fishermen are last person. This fishing community is the last person. And issue is very serious. No one in America or anywhere in the world will believe that some fishermen arrested for crossing border inadvertently have to live 2 to 2.5 years in other countries' jail. No one will believe. Nothing. No one know where it happened. There is one UN clause, United Nations Convention on Law of the Seas. If we see, it also says the fishing community, even if they cross border, they should not be jailed because they are the fisher people, fishing community. You can take fish, but you cannot arrest their vessels. Now, over the years, Pakistan has confiscated over 1,300 Indian fishing boats. Average, a fishing boat costs around 60 lakh rupees. India has over the years confiscated around more than 200 Pakistani fishing boats, but it's a small compared to Indian boats. So it cost around 30 Indian lakh rupees in Indian rupees. So out of that 1,300 boats, actually almost all the boats get destroyed in the sea, and some of the boats were auctioned by Pakistan. That's also on record. So still we believe that some boats, around 50, can be brought back, can sail sea with some repair work. Because in 2015, Pakistan had released 52 Indian fishing boats, and that committed to release 22 more, but they never. So because of this fishing boats, 1,300 fishing boats. So just see how much it impacted
Yeah.
the coastal Saurashtra.
There are nomadic communities both within
Yeah,
India and globally,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And those communities, some people might call them gypsies, some people might call them, Vanjaris or whatever you might be.
even stateless,
Yes,
stateless.
yes, stateless. Are there United Nations laws or international agreements with regard to their rights?
Because there are, I'm told that there are stateless people of, uh, for example, Rohingya community, if you say, in Burma, because the constitution of Burma or Myanmar is such that most of the Rohingyas are not citizen, so they are stateless. In that sense, they are stateless. So there are, I'm told that there are hundreds of thousands of stateless people who live on boats. I'm told, but I haven't studied that. I haven't studied that.
The thought I want to plant is just like, or if there is a spatial status for stateless and nomadic tribes that who are protected from any kind of uh,
Persecution.
victimization or prosecution on account of crossing borders or any other rights they have. Can we create a new category of people? Because I would say ocean is as much their home as the land is for fishermen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can we not treat them not exactly as nomadic tribes, but
Yeah.
give them a more right to wandering in the ocean and not following the rights of people who live on the land? And if there
Absolutely.
can be a creative dialogue about this,
Yeah. Yeah.
there might be some solution that can be handled at the United Nations level and then taken down, just like there are laws about wars and there are laws about other things, disputes. We can create a laws about sharing of the ocean and see what can come out of that.
Yeah, there is a UN clause, UN CLOS, but again, it's a restricted to. It's not. It doesn't touch the issues which you are referring. But surely we need to work on that. We need to think about this, um, and because ultimately the fishing community or fishermen, be they are from India, Pakistan, or Maldives, or Sri Lanka, or Bangladesh, or Indonesia, or from anywhere, the fishermen will go where they find fish.
Yes.
They will not, because when they are in fishing boat, they they will take their boat in the direction where fish lies ample quantity.
That's the law of nature, right? Animals migrate to where
Yeah,
the food is,
yeah,
yeah, where livelihood is. So I think my basic challenge to everybody's imagination and sensibilities is how can you apply the laws of the land to people who primarily live on the ocean?
true.
Yeah, and then I have one question, which will I hopefully it will be last unless something
Yeah,
comes out of it. When a Pakistani fisherman and an Indian fisherman come face to face in the ocean, how is their relationship?
they have no. That's a. Uh, in fact, you will be surprised. The Pakistan Fisher Folk Forum. That's a union of Pakistani fishermen. On record, they have said that they have no issue even if Indian fisherman enters into Pakistani water and catch fish, because they say it will strengthen relation between the fishing community of the two countries, and which in a way can influence the lawmakers or policymakers of both the nations to think differently.
Yes. I want to add to that. When you started your introduction, you talked about people to people relationship between India and Pakistan. We fight over land, we fight over borders, but their nature did not make borders in the ocean, not in the land or in the sky. I see an opportunity to improve people to people relationship between India and Pakistan by creating a dialogue between fishermen of Pakistan and fishermen of India. And a new culture can emerge from that, which
Yeah,
is born out of we are both tapping into the resource that nature has given us, the ocean and the fish, on which not only our livelihood depends, but the entire population on the land that consumes fish
true,
relies
true.
on our ability to mine that wealth. So why not create that dialogue? Why not create that new understanding
Absolutely, absolutely.
that ocean
Let us,
is the place where actually India and Pakistan can find a new space for talking to each other?
yeah, absolutely. I agree. Completely agree. That's true.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful, for me, it is an eye-opening dialogue. Have a good night.
Yeah. Good.